moving on to Apple's new Vision Pro. This is this like mixed reality headset, which makes you look a little bit like Kanye West at the moment or something like that. So I can't imagine it's really going to, well, who knows? I'm sure it will take off, maybe just not for me. What about you? Would you wear it?
No. I've seen the video. Again, you're watching a video feed, you can see the trailer produced, a very slick trailer by Apple. I've seen lots of posts on social media of people reviewing it and saying how amazing it is. There's also like a Meta, the owners of Facebook have made their own version as well. It will be, I'm sure down the line, it will be the thing we'll all get used to wearing.
Actually, our kids will be using it, won't they? Let's face it. Yeah.
At the moment, probably not. And I think it's just the strangeness of the headset because we're not used to seeing it. But this guy, that we're talking about now, went viral. Sorry.
Yeah. Anshul Sag, his name is. Yeah.
So he's been reviewing, he's a big into his tech. And like many other people, he was showing it in action. Unfortunately, though, it kind of backfired a little bit on him. So as you can see in the video feed, he is got his young baby daughter on his shoulder when he's wearing his big headset. And he's in the post, he talks about how he was testing out watching Avatar while his daughter slept on him. And again, as in terms of a review, it makes an interesting picture. However, Anna, you explain, there's a bit of a backlash to it.
Well, yeah, there's lots of people who sort of hit back at him, basically saying, "Oh, this is terrible parenting. Basically, it's critical for children is learning their parents' faces and expressions." And like he then, quite rightly, in my view at least, responded and said, "She's asleep and she's a newborn, so it's fine." And personally, I'm just like, you think maybe he'll regret having posted his review, but I think he won't regret it, or he shouldn't regret it, because it does give a different perspective to Apple, who I'm sure are kind of like testing the market and everything at the moment. It's just like, well, this can be used by people in all sorts of guises as well, such as new parents, for example, who, let's face it, are knackered for 24 hours a day, probably getting minimal sleep. He's doing a wonderful thing by having the skin-on-skin contact, and his baby is sleeping on him. Babies, as we know, at 6 weeks old or something like that, they tend to just sleep a lot anyway. And I just think it's an excellent use and efficient use of his time and of her time as well, for him to be catching up on a film and testing out a product while his baby's very, very peacefully sleeping on him. So I don't think he'll regret it at all. And I think fair play to him, but tons and tons of people, 10.5 million views on his video, which is mega. But yeah, a lot of hate.
I think it's tricky. Look, we're both relatively recent new parents. And of course, you know what it's like. You're absolutely knackered and you don't have time. You're running around. You're obviously looking after your newborn. And you're just maybe when he or she's asleep on you've got your phone, you could be texting and catching up with mates and WhatsApps. I think there's a couple of things for me, which, again, I know I said I feel he may regret it slightly, but I don't feel necessarily condemning him like some people, because again, we want to be catching up on what's been going on. But I think it's just because, as we said, it's that headset we're not used to seeing, and so people's reaction of, again, going to pull a face like I did seeing some of the pictures of people going down the road, scooting down the road on their electric scooter wearing these things. But I think
so it's just that feeling of if we're uncomfortable with seeing something, then we lash out at it. It's the othering, isn't it? It's this out of this worldly kind of like look about him that is making people feel uncomfortable, and then they feel like they on social media need to kind of like comment on it because we're not comfortable with what we're uncomfortable with. So,
but also it's social media, particularly Twitter. It's just being outraged, and people love a social media storm. And in fair play to him, he has replied to the messages. He's kept the post up, and he's been posting other things as well. But it is really tricky. It's a really tricky situation for him. I wouldn't necessarily have done that in the same picture, same way, or even pictured myself on social media with my phone, with my daughter, for example. I feel very self-conscious about that. But it is, everyone's different, and again, the baby was completely safe.